Joining the Observer on the air live couldn't be easier. First, visit bit.ly/obguest. Once you click on that, you'll wind up on this screen. Then, you'll have to choose the webcam that you want to use. You can see there's a list of them here. And once you choose the right webcam, you'll then have to choose the microphone that you want to use. It's all very simple. Then type in your name where it says your name here. And once you have finished typing your name, click the join button. Then you'll be in the queue to be on the air. It's that easy. Hi again, everybody. It's Kevin Canessa coming to you from the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com on this, the 19th day of March in the year 2024. Sure hope you're enjoying your Tuesday, no matter where it is you are in the country. I can't believe this, but today's St. Joseph's Day, and it's also, I think it was 43 years ago today that we lost my grandfather. It's hard to believe that was 43 years ago. It seemed like it was just a minute ago, but here we are in 2024. Now, we've got a lot to get to today, but before we do, there's a few house cleaning items that I really want to take care of first. So if you'll just bear with me, our buddy Colt is coming down the final stretch, and unfortunately, there's a lot of competition in this round, and he is in eighth place, believe it or not. So he really needs a pick-me-up, because if he doesn't get past this round, it's over. And believe it or not, we have almost 11,000 followers on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, just go over and vote for him. It's double votes today. We would really, really appreciate it. We want to keep him going, and you can get to that at americasfavepet.com/2024/Colt45-1EB. So I really would appreciate it if there's anybody out there who would be able to maybe go out and do that for us. And I'm sure Lisa would certainly appreciate it as well, our buddy Colt, in this great, cool contest. Now, this is something that just came to me yesterday. And, one of the things that I would plan to speak about today on the air is about the funeral yesterday for my friend and possibly your friend, Christine Jablonski, which took place yesterday at St. Stephen's. But before I get to that, the Troop 305, which is the St. Stephen's troop of the Boy Scouts, is having a Tricky Tray fundraiser on April 20th, Saturday, 4/20, at 6:30 p.m. at Hedges Hall at St. Stephen's Church. Hedges Hall is in the basement. It used to be called the Lower Church, but they renamed it Hedges Hall. And it's $45 admission, which gets you some tickets and door prizes. There's going to be a live band playing that day, and also it's a Texas barbecue dinner, and it goes to a great cause. And this was a cause that I know that was completely dear to Christine Jablonski's heart. She was their press person, and that was how I actually got to know her. So I thought it was kind of remarkable that on the day that she was laid to rest, I got this flyer in the mail, and I couldn't help but share it, because I certainly hope you will be able to help them out. Her sons were both Eagle Scouts in the troop, and it was a cause dear to her. And all the publicity that they normally would get would be from Christine. And so this is the first time already. You see how quickly her legacy lives on, where something she would have done, but she's not able to do because she's no longer with us. So I do hope you will consider taking part in this fundraiser. And even if you're not going to go, if it's not the type of thing that you would go to, maybe give it a shot anyway. Donate to them. It's $45. You don't have to donate that amount if you don't want to either. So, but that's what they're doing. So there it is. That is coming up on the 20th of April at St. Stephen's at Hedges Hall in Kearny, right off of Kearny Avenue by Laurel Avenue. Now, this was yesterday. Our friend Christine was laid to rest, And I was one of what Mark Wiggins told me 800 people who were at St. Stephen's Church yesterday. It was one of the most remarkable farewells I have ever seen in my entire life. I have never seen a larger crowd for a funeral liturgy. Funeral liturgies are not always the most well attended. You know, a lot of people will go to the wakes and things of that nature, but the Mass itself is not always very well attended. But, folks, when I tell you there was a seat not to be found at St. Stephen's Church, I kid you not. It was that crowded yesterday morning at St. Stephen's. And Father Joe Mancini, who is the longtime pastor of St. Stephen's, gave perhaps what I would say, I mean, of any funeral liturgy I've ever attended, the greatest homily I've ever heard. And it was not easy for him to do it because he had to mention the Jesuits a couple of times, but he did it very, very easily, and he didn't fall off the podium, and he didn't melt away, as often happens when people talk about the Jesuits. But they were such an integral part of Christine's life. And he mentioned something that you've heard me say so many times about being men and women for others. It was something that I learned as a student of the Jesuits. Christine did as a student of Holy Cross, and her husband Jeff, who was a student at St. Peter's Prep and Holy Cross, and Nate and Eli, both prep kids, and now Holy Cross kids. A pretty remarkable situation. But when you see 800 people in a church to bid farewell to one person, it was just truly remarkable. You know, I asked Father Joe, I said, in my lifetime, I haven't seen St. Stephen's this crowded since right after the terrorist attacks of 9/11, when the whole town came together to pray for the loss. And he agreed and said that the church has not been that full since September and October of 2001. Think about that. It's been 23 years. But that place was packed to the gills. And you know, there was I had a great opportunity to speak to Frank Jablonski this morning, who tells me that the Chief Justice of the State Supreme Court was present. Who brings the Chief Justice of the State Supreme Court to a funeral? Christine Jablonski. You know, now I know, Jeff is a judge in Superior Court in Hudson County, so of course, there is no doubt that there was an influence there, but that is just a remarkable testament to Christine, that the Chief Justice of the State Supreme Court was, in fact, at that liturgy. There were so many people there. Priests. Jeff's deacon class was all there. There were so many people from the deacon class. Jeff studying to become a deacon in the Archdiocese of Newark, and all of his classmates were there. Multiple priests. Some of you may remember Father Mike Ward, who was the former pastor of St. Cecilia's Church. He was there, and it was just something to behold. You couldn't help but feel uplifted after leaving church, and that doesn't happen often. You leave a church, and one of the final words that the priest will say, and I'm paraphrasing here, is, "We will now take Christine to her final place of rest." And in this case, people left with a smile on their face. And since she's being cremated, everybody dropped a flower on her coffin, and it was just such a remarkable moment. And Jeff stood there with the boys, who, by the way, were both serving the altar yesterday for their mother's funeral. What a beautiful tribute to their mother, that the two boys, I shouldn't say the boys because they're both in their 20s now, were both on the altar serving the Mass for the funeral of their mom. I mean, it was just absolutely beautiful to see. And my buddy Dylan Sullivan, who is a Jesuit-educated young man himself, a junior at St. Peter's Prep, says a beautiful tribute to a beautiful person. Dylan is a member of the Boy Scouts himself, and I'm sure he knows the Jablonskis and Christine, Eli, and Nathaniel as well. So he put it in his own words as beautifully as I could. It was just a beautiful tribute to a beautiful person who is gone entirely too soon. So to all the people who were there, bravo. And to Father Joe Mancini, I just don't know what else to say, but boy, did you do her justice in ways that I don't think many people could ever imagine was possible. But did he ever? He gave a beautiful homily, one for the ages, and one I know I will never forget. And it is just impossible to think that Christine is no longer with us. But she is not. She's gone at age 53. And personally, I will miss her terribly. My Uncle Mike asks what high school she went to. I know she grew up in Connecticut, Mugga, so it was somewhere in Connecticut, I'm pretty sure. But I do not think it was anywhere in New Jersey. But I will find out for sure. But I'm fairly certain she did not go to school in New Jersey, but don't quote me on that because I cannot say it for absolute certain. So I certainly miss her already, and I'm sure everybody does who knew her. Now we turn to this week's newspaper, and as you can see on the screen, there are a lot of things that are going on, including a few photos from the St. Patrick's Day Parade in West Hudson, which was a weekend ago before this one. And one of my favorite people in the world is in a photo here. It's former Kearny Mayor Ken Lindenfelser in the photo to the right. He's standing there with his nephew, the Grand Marshal, Bill Dow. It's good to see the former mayor who was up in Kearny. They live in Florida now, but he was up here to celebrate the parade. He comes up almost every year, and it's great to see the former mayor looking so healthy as he does in this right here. Now, the bottom story, this is kind of important, is about the new recruiting efforts that the Kearny Police Department are undertaking. And believe it or not, it's not the only department that's doing this, but Kearny is doing it very vocally. They are looking to get some of the best candidates possible to become Kearny police officers. And the whole process for taking the civil service test is completely different now. You used to pay the fee, take the test, and your scores would go throughout the state, and for 3 years, the test would be alive and active. But now, the test is only active for 1 year. You pay $30 per department that you want to apply for. So if there are people out there who are looking to join the Kearny Police Department, what you have to do is you have to check off their department name in order for your test results to go to the department to be reviewed to become a new police officer. Now, I had a chance to speak with Detective Sergeant Mike Guntarchuk, and he explained to me the whole process. And if you are one of those people who is looking to become a Kearny police officer, all of the details of the process are listed in the story. And, take it for what it's worth, but Kearny has one of the better starting salaries for a police officer at $47,000 around there, and maybe 47 and 48. Some departments start off their police officers at an extremely lower number. So if you're interested, all of the details are in the story. Take a chance, read it, and you'll be able to do it. Now, the deadline is April 1st, so it doesn't leave you with much time. So if you know somebody who is looking to become a police officer, they're going to have to do it pretty soon because time is quickly running out. Check it out on page 1 of today's edition of The Observer. Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill secured almost $1 million for the township of Belleville for their water line project. You know that Belleville has had issues with their water department over the last couple of years. This will certainly help it. Mikey Sherrill is a Democrat. Mike Melham, the mayor of Belleville, is an independent. He is a registered independent. He's not an undeclared. He is an actual independent. And he's showing an example, as he has done throughout his mayoralty, of bipartisan or tripartisan cooperation in this realm. And that will be very, very helpful for Belleville. So check that out, especially if you live in town. Maria Hamlin, an old friend of mine who I first met back in 2006 in Nutley. She is a retired Nutley police officer, is running for the Board of Commissioners in the township of Nutley. She's running with one other non-incumbent, and of course the 5 incumbents in Nutley are also running. So the top 5 vote getters will win a seat on the commission, and the person who has the most votes then becomes the mayor. So Maria is throwing her hat in the ring. She is involved with the VFW Post in Nutley and has done a lot of great things over her career. Rather than me go through all of those things, read the story to find out all the things Maria has done in her career, and you can take that with whatever you want to. And I just know Maria for a long time, and I think she would do a phenomenal job as a member of the commission. commissioners if she wins the election in May. And that's when the election is, in May. I'm not sure the exact day. I think it's the second Tuesday in May with that election. Now, the story that caused so much consternation, not constipation, is this one right here. It is the story about a man who broke into and defecated in a police car. I'm going to say nothing more because a lot of people were pissed off about it, but take a look at it and you can read it yourself on page number 4 today. This weekend, the show Starmites, the curtain comes up at Harrison High School for their play, and I know they do a phenomenal job. They're involved with the Playhouse. I forget what the name of the town is in Union County. So check it out. And if you have nothing to do this weekend, the shows are this entire weekend. So head on over to Harrison High School and check out the show. And this editorial that I wrote this week was a little bit different because Mayor Steve Fulop, along with 2 members of the State Assembly, have come out against the line in Hudson County, and the line that has given an incredible advantage to the candidates who are basically handpicked by the HCDO, and they, including Fulop, who have been the beneficiaries of the county line many times, have come out swinging against it, and we couldn't be happier that that's exactly what they're doing. So I hope you will check that out on page number 6 when you get a chance. Jason Bernstein has 3 sports stories this week, and you can see those right here as well. Oh, this one I have to show you too, because this came from our dear friend Carol Manley. She went to see the Addams Family this past weekend at Kearny High School. A great show that Kathy Estrella and Millie put on this past weekend. And while she was watching the show, she noticed the Observer was used as one of the props. So thank you to our dear friend Carol Manley for catching this. I appreciate it very much. You'll catch that on page number 14 today. Thank you for seeing that, and that was pretty darn cool. This story we talked about already. I don't want to get into it again. And, of course, we have 2 pages of classifieds. Paper Mill Playhouse. Tony Mondero just sent me a text. That's what I was thinking about. Thank you, buddy. Thank you very much. And this story idea about the Harrison High School play originated with Tony Mondero. He said, these kids are putting on an excellent effort, so do me a favor and reach out to them. And then that next day, they reached out to us, so we were able to pull it together, and I want to thank Tony for that great suggestion. And that's the playhouse that they're involved with. It's the Paper Mill Playhouse in over there. Dominic Esposito. Is this the Dominic Esposito? My classmate, Dominic Esposito. My birthday brother, Carol Manley, Dominic Esposito, who you see right here, he was born on September 21st, 1974, the same day as I was. We're high school classmates. He went on to Drury University and then to a whole bunch of other schools as well, I'm sure. One of the most brilliant minds I've ever known, and I have not seen him in probably 25 to 30 years, and he's in the chat room right now, so forgive me for being holy cow. Wow, Dom Esposito is here, and we share a birthday. Carol Manley, who, Dom, if you're still here, Carol Manley, who's a person who, you see her name right here in the chat room, she was born on September 21st, and she just said it right here in 1960. So there's 3 people with our birthday in this chat room right now. What are the chances of that, Dom? It's so good to see you, buddy. I know I owe you a phone call, and I am so sorry. You know how I am with that. Love you too, buddy. It's good to see you, brother. Really, truly is. Believe it or not, that's it for today. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me. But before I do, I want to say hello to everybody who's here. Kenny Evans, I just saw for the first time. My dear friend Dominic Esposito, high school classmate, birthday brother. My birthday sister, Carol Manley. And let's see, our own Lisa is here. Melanie Ryan was here. June Hearn was here. Our own June Hearn, of course. Carol Manley's mom and one of my favorite people in the world. Marta was here, too. Dylan Sullivan, my Uncle Mike. Mayor Dan Pronti. Mayor Pronti. I'm sorry, I was kind of scrolling through while I was going through this. And my buddy Bill Scarterfield out in Arizona has also joined us today. So, Billy, good to see you. and Bill Pettigrew as well. Manny Ventoso, Luz Rosso is also here with us, and John Drimkowski as well. If I missed anybody, it's because you didn't say anything in the chat room, and I apologize for not shouting you out, but I always will if you're in the chat room, so thank you very, very much. Melanie says there's a comedy night Friday to support Kearny Project High School graduation. Melanie has been involved with this for a long time. Project graduation. She puts in more hours and more time than you can even begin to imagine. So please look for the flyer. I'm sure it's on her Facebook page or one of the groups that she runs, and give it a shout if you can. And Alexis Sheridan is also here with us too. Alexis, it's always good to see you, my buddy. Billy's getting his surgery on May 5th, so I hope that goes well, but I hope to talk to you before then, buddy. Oh God, getting a new hip. My stepfather had one, and luckily it was pretty good. So I hope, of course, the same for you. And then the last thing before we go is Melanie says it's at the Scots Club at 8 o'clock. And that was, what day of the week was it? You said it, Friday night. Friday night, all to benefit the project graduation. Yes, did I not say Dylan? Yeah, Dylan's here. I was talking about Dylan earlier, so Dylan, I didn't mean to not shout you out again if I did, but I probably did, and Melanie missed it. But if I missed it, my fault. Okay. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for today. We will see you back here on Friday when my friend Tony Mondero will join us for the Observer's Weather Report. Now, we had a chance. We were going to do it, of course, last Friday, but we had technical issues. It looks like everything is now fixed. And so we'll see you about 1:30 on Friday to go over the weather. Hopefully, it will be a nice weather day on Friday and then over the weekend, but it doesn't look so good right now. It was nice and warm last weekend, and now it's getting cold. From the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com, it's Kevin Canessa signing off for now, and we will see you back here on Friday, and if not, we hope to see you again here very, very soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.